Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. We're a couple weeks late. Unfortunately, we've had some technical issues. Mark was away and he doesn't know how to do anything. So
No, I got there, except I just couldn't get it as good as Mark, and I was not happy.
we've had a busy couple of weeks. So
my skills are not up to Mark's standards yet.
no, so we have
I'm working on it.
We have a few weeks, so we're gonna talk right about the last two episodes of Space Force, because we're gonna just
we're gonna cover what we missed. The one that we shot that I didn't get up to standards.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Plus,
we're also going to talk about the. We each got each other to watch something that that they hadn't seen yet, and he got me to watch Time Machine from 2002, based on the whatchamacallit,
H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells book, and I got you to watch Avengers Endgame. So that's what we're going to talk about today, we're just gonna catch up on those. We'll catch up on Star Trek and everything on the next one. Discovery
starts on the 18th.
Yeah, I know. So we'll do like a Star Trek thing. We'll catch up on all of the lower decks and everything. Maybe we'll do a whole Star Trek one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's probably what we'll do for the start of Discovery.
That works. I'm waiting for it. Not long, a couple days.
That's right, not that long. So anyway, So let's start with Space Force. So the last couple episodes of Space Force, of course, they finally get to the moon. They do their spat with the Chinese. They completely sabotage each other's moon bases.
That's right.
Everybody's
each one of them
screwed
at the same time. Each one of them. That was so funny.
Yeah, everybody's screwed. And then of course he gets arrested for making them disassemble all the weapons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
well, I mean, that was a good thing that he did. He didn't want to, have them shooting each other, but still, it was just one of the. And I mean, it is well cast.
It is,
because the people playing the assholes do it well. Like that guy, just.
Well, the funny thing is, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter what it is. You couldn't. You just. There's no way they could order an attack on another country on the moon. The moon is not a place where there can be combat. It's quite literally it's like one of those things where the moon doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to all humanity, and that's how the United Nations has agreed on it or whatever. Like so, and you can't just go, well, they ran over our sign, so we're gonna like retaliate with guns and shit. Like it was just the ludicrousness of the fact that
I know it was just
that the U.S.
Hi, Pongo.
Hey, Pongo is kind of going to at this point, right? Like,
got to make his appearance.
So
yeah,
but and of course then it ended with him going to pick up his daughter with the helicopter.
That's right, exactly.
And then picking up his wife and the prison guard because she escaped.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah,
and all three of them, the whole family in the helicopter.
They're all fugitives now.
Yeah.
You got to wonder that's just. So I wonder what they're going to do when they move into season 2. So,
that's a good thing. They left you at a point where, well, what are they going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
So I like the way that worked.
So now when you look at the whole thing as a whole, overall, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
Very much.
How about you, Mark?
I love the finale.
Yeah, Mark says he liked it too. So yeah.
All three of us are in unison on that one. We all agree. So
what about Denise? Did she like it too?
Denise didn't want to watch it. She watched the first 2, 3, and she says, "You know what?
Not her
Fuck
thing?
it." I said, "Okay, cool."
That's cool. Yeah, no, it's
a slow burn to get to the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. The payoff, I think, is worth it because it's one of those. It's one of those. It's like we talked about. Remember when we were talking about what we were going to do with the Jersey ham and stuff like that? But then we were talking about Paul Newhart.
Who?
Paul Newhart. Newhart.
Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart. Sorry, whatever. Anyway.
Paul Newman?
Yeah, I was thinking of Paul Newman and Bob Newhart at the same time. Anyway, Bob Newhart, right? Remember when it was kind of like at the end of Newhart, how it was like, oh, what
today, Junior?
And then this was the same way. It was like it was going on this one trajectory, and then all of a sudden it's like, what the?
Oh, you
Like,
mean we were talking about Bob Newhart with the way he ended?
with the way he ended, how it
with
just
all
kind of
the-
went right off in another
Okay,
direction.
right.
Well, same with this. It
Because
was like one
all
of those
the dream kind of thing. Yeah.
it went
okay.
way off in a whole other direction. Like
Yeah.
it was the same
Well,
kind of
it's-
idea, right? Like,
Sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to. People are thinking it's like
it
this.
was like
and all of a sudden-
Seinfeld ended the same way.
I didn't watch Seinfeld.
With
I could never
Seinfeld,
get
they
into
ended
it.
they ended with them all going to jail, like for this baloney charge. Like it was just it's like completely out of left field for what you'd think would happen.
Yeah, I didn't
like-
watch Seinfeld, so I could never. Did you watch Seinfeld? You did? Okay. Marky G, like said.
Not religiously. I'm more of a Larry David fan.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, it's that whole idea of it just going off. It was like I don't know if you guys remember the show. I think it was in the late '80s or the early '90s, The Dinosaurs.
No.
And it was like done by animatronics. Like I think Jim Henson's Creature Shop made the dinosaurs or whatever, and it was a sitcom. And it was kind of like
The Dinosaurs.
the
no.
dinosaurs. Yeah,
Never heard of
it
it.
was on ABC.
You ever heard of it?
Anyway,
Yes.
you know, with the
Okay.
little baby one that was like "Not the mama" all the time. No. Anyway, they ended it. They ended it with
Marky
the.
G's on the ball
They
here. I'm
ended,
sorry.
they ended it with. You remember how the dinosaurs were wiped out by a friggin' asteroid? That's how they ended the show. It was like the most gruesome ending in history.
Potatoism.
Yeah, it was whoa, boom. That was how they ended the show. The asteroid struck and killed everything. It was like completely
Well,
ridiculous. It was
so it was accurate.
People were like, "Holy shit! Did they just end that this way?" Yeah, that was. It's like one of those kind of endings where you're like, "Did they really just do that?" Like, anyway, yeah, it was funny.
Okay.
That's Jim Henson being pissed off at the executive producers.
Yeah, that's probably
Okay.
what it was. Yeah, it was,
Take it
was
out on
messed
them.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I liked the show. I thought, at the ending, I was just like, "Oh my god, is that really how they're ending it?" You mean there's not another one? Oh my god!
No.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do that.
Where they, how they pull into that one.
If they do a season 2, which I mean, the internet says they are, so and
Well.
Netflix says they are, so I hope so.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
But, yeah. So anyway, if you guys have all watched the entire season now, what did you think of it? Did you like Space Force?
Give us your opinions.
Yeah, definitely. Right below what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, or if you loved it, if you hated it, whatever. Like I said,
let us know.
I've watched it through 3 times. I watched it through once on my own, then I watched it through once with Kim, and I watched it through once as we were doing this. So I mean, I've seen the whole thing through all the way 3 times, and I liked it every time.
Yeah,
so.
well, it is a good series. I honestly, I do remember the first 1 or 2. I wasn't sure
yeah.
how it was going to go. I was like, but then slowly it kind of okay, and I kind of got to where I should be with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, it started slow for me, but eventually it worked.
It really, because it does kind of grab you.
I knew a girl like that, but anyway.
Yeah, don't we all? Anyway, yeah, it was pretty good. So, that said, let's talk about let's hear what you thought of Avengers Endgame, because now we gotta.
Oh yeah, Avengers
So
Endgame.
that was-
Actually, that wasn't a bad movie overall. Interestingly done. Sorry to see Tony Stark bite the big one, and
Yep.
of course, I always liked
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett.
Yeah.
So I was sorry to see
Yeah,
her go.
those 2 deaths were really hard for people to take.
But I mean, she could have just ended it there and then come over and see me, and I'd have consoled her. But
I console her too.
yeah,
They're there.
yeah,
They're there.
they're there, yeah.
God.
That was good, actually.
I thought you'd like
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that, but that was good. Well,
They're there.
Yeah, they're there. Good girl. Good
Oh
girl.
God!
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, terrible. I know we're being bad, but no.
I didn't even see that coming. Pardon the pun.
Yeah. Neither did she. No, but I was really sad to see the two of them go in it. I was glad for Captain America. I liked the way his story ended. With him.
Yeah, it was good to see him get back with Carter. And get to
I
spend
thought
his
that
life.
was
That
really
was
cool.
that was a nice thing to see.
Yeah. I get why they did that with Iron Man and Black Widow, but I just what if it hadn't have been Black Widow and Hawkeye that went to Vormir to get the Soul Stone? What if it was like, Tony and the Hulk? You know, like,
It's-
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
oh
why don't
shit.
why don't you send that into What If?
Hey, it probably will be a what if.
You know?
Who knows? But that's what I mean. It's like, what if it hadn't have been two people who had a genuine long-term friendship, who had a genuine love for each other? What if it had been just two people who were like, well, yeah, man, I like you, but hey, you know, like, you know, what if it had been like Gamora and War Machine, you know, like who went to get the Power Stone instead
Hey.
they went to get the Soul Stone, you know?
Who
like,
knows?
It's one of those things that it's like, it was awfully convenient that they picked those two to go get that specific stuff, you know? Like, anyway, but
Just worked out that way.
anyway, yeah, I liked it. I know, I remember seeing it in the theaters, and everybody went absolutely bonkers when Captain America picked up Mjolnir and started beating the hell out of
Yeah.
Thanos with it. Between that and his shield, throw one, throw the other, throw one, throw the other.
Yep.
Or when he'd throw the shield and then he'd whip the hammer at the shield. And
Yeah,
let it reverberate behind Thanos' head.
It was
Jesus.
overall, it was a pretty good movie. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it thoroughly, and it was a good story. As I said, though, sorry to see them go, but
Yeah.
So now you said I need to catch up some more.
Yeah, well,
I need to
you've
watch.
you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming or Spider-Man Far From Home, and you haven't seen Captain Marvel because he called me, right, like about 10 minutes into the movie
Yeah, I
and asked
did,
me who
yeah.
Captain Marvel was. Him and Denise didn't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? You said you were caught up. You still need to see this one. Well, apparently I haven't seen them all.
Yeah.
I guess not. So now you're going to have to watch Captain Marvel.
Okay. All
see
right.
that
So I
one.
got to watch Captain Marvel and,
And
the two
Spider-Mans.
Spider-Mans. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, I don't know how I'm going to go. Like, you see, I'm used to seeing Tobey Maguire with Spider-Man, so I'm going to have to sort of pull
Well, you've
myself
seen-
away from that.
You've seen Tom Holland do him in Infinity War
Yeah,
and
but-
Endgame.
But not
He's a
as,
way better
as his
Spider-Man.
own, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's a way better Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire was good for his day, but he was too old to play the part. But I will tell everybody, in case you guys don't know, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who played Spider-Man after Tobey Maguire did, are along with what's her face, who played Mary Jane alongside Tobey Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember her name for the life of me, and I don't know why.
She was the one from
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire. She was a little girl at the time.
Anyway, they are all coming back to reprise their roles. She's coming back as Mary Jane. They're both coming back as Spider-Man. In Spider-Man, it's called Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse or something. It's going to be, I think it's going to be, anyway, and Tobey Maguire's going to be, they're doing a live-action Spider-Verse. And they're all going to come back and reprise their roles as different Spider-Men from different... And in Spider-Man 3, the next Spider-Man, Jamie Lee... is not Jamie, is it Jamie Foxx? The black guy, Jamie Foxx?
Jimmy Fox, yeah.
He's coming back to reprise his role as Electro from the Andrew Garfield series in the next Spider-Man. Like, it's messed...
Wow.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So...
A little fucked up there.
Yeah, they're doing some pretty interesting stuff there. So,
Okay. Well,
little
there you
tidbit
go.
if you guys haven't heard, it's all coming to,
Oh, phew.
you know. But anyway, yeah. So,
Dog hair.
otherwise, you know, what was your favorite part?
I guess if I had to pick a favorite part, it was the fact that just seeing when I got to realize that when he came back and he was an old man on the couch or on the bench,
Yeah.
and then you got to realize that he stayed there and spent time with her and did what he did. That was sort of my favorite part. Like, yeah, there was at least one happy ending.
Now, did you know that the only person who knew he wasn't going to come back when he stepped into the time machine again was Bucky?
I was not aware of that.
So he
No.
looks at him and he says, "Don't do anything stupid till I get back." And Bucky says, "How can I?
How
You're
can
taking
I?
all
You
the
took
stupid
all the
with
stupid
You're
with
taking
you or
all the
something."
stupid
Yeah,
with
that's
you,"
right,
which
yeah.
is harkens back to when Bucky was going off to war in the first Captain America, and Steve said to him, "Don't
do anything."
Or Bucky said, "Don't do anything stupid till I
Right,
get back."
right.
And Steve said to him,
That's
"Don't
right.
do.
That-
You're taking. How can I? You're
that's
taking all
right,
the stupid with
exactly,
you."
yeah.
It was but if you look at him, he knew. At that point, you can tell that Steve had told him, "I'm not coming back. I'm going."
Okay.
It's one of those things you can tell that he knew.
I didn't catch
Because
that.
they shared a very emotional moment right then,
Okay, I must have
and there was
missed it.
and
or-
also it was like when he did come back and they saw him on the bench, right?
yeah.
Falcon looks and he's like,
Yeah, he
go ahead, you go ahead, because Bucky says to him, you go ahead, right? And then Falcon walks over. It was because he knew that Steve already wanted to give him the shield.
So he was aware of everything.
He was already aware of everything. Bucky
But
was
you
his best
also
friend.
told me something off air that I was not aware of either.
What?
Was that Carter knew
Yes.
at his funeral?
If you go back to watch, if you go back to Captain America: Civil War, the third Captain America, when Peggy dies, and they're carrying her casket, right? You see Captain America. He's on the front right, carrying the casket, right?
Yep.
Well, on the back left is a gray-haired guy you see from behind. That's old Steve Rogers. Because he was married to her,
Yeah.
right? And she kept that secret because she never told him who his. She never told him, like, when he first saw her in the first Captain America again, or not the first one, the second one, when he went to see her. She never told him, like, who her husband was, or she didn't say anything. She kept that secret, like, the whole time.
It's
'cause
just
she
amazing.
knew he was going to come back.
Yeah. It's so amazing how
How in depth and
Yeah,
what
like-
they've done. Yeah.
it was weird. When you
Ins
told me
and
that, I
outs.
was like,
Yeah.
wow, like fucked up.
Yep. It's all intertwined in some way. And if you watch all the movies, especially if you go back and you watch them again after you've seen them once, you'll see little things that you'll pick up on because
Well, that's the same with anything. You watch it once or
generally-
twice, you always
yeah,
catch.
but generally when you watch a movie, right, the first time you see it, you're usually completely especially these big blockbusters, right? You're overcome with all the special effects and all the exciting moments
Yeah,
and
you
everything.
can't
just-
take everything
you
in all
can't
at
take
once,
everything
of
in.
course.
It's just too much. But when you go back and you watch and then you see all these little subtleties and you look and you go, man, that's what they did there. Man, that's what they did there.
Yeah.
That's what they did there. It's something when you go back and you see all these little
Yeah.
tidbits that they just chuck in here and there, right? And you don't know if it'll ever pay off. Because you got to remember,
What do they call those Easter eggs?
Easter eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
But like when they did the first Iron Man, right? When they did the very first Iron Man, and they threw in like all these little trinkets and tidbits and Easter eggs, right? And nobody knew that it was going to lead. You know, they had a plan and they were hoping it would lead, but at the time they didn't. Like, there's a deleted scene from the very first Iron Man. And you remember at the very, very end, after the credits, when Nick Fury shows up in his house
Yes.
and he talks
okay,
to
got
him,
it. I remember
right?
that.
And he
yeah.
says, "Oh, you're not the only superhero."
That's
Well,
right.
originally, there's an original one where they had shot it, and Nick Fury says, "Radioactive bug bites, assorted mutants, and now you." Well, at the time they filmed that, they didn't have the rights for the X-Men because Fox had them. They didn't have the rights for Spider-Man, right? So when they did that, they were hoping at that point that they were going to be able to cross Iron Man over in some fashion with Sony's Tobey Maguire and Fox's X-Men franchise. But it never came to fruition, right? So they had to cut
they
that
had to
and they
redo
redo
it.
it.
Right, okay.
But like even when they did the Incredible Hulk, right? They did the Incredible Hulk. And they threw in little tidbits through that, like Easter eggs, like Stark Industries was all over the military gear that the army was using to track down the Hulk. And then at the very end, after the credit scene, was they had Tony Stark talking to Admiral or General Ross, right? And you know, it wasn't until then they did Thor, then they did Captain America, and then they did Avengers, and it was like, okay, at this point, and they did the second Iron Man. Everybody was like, okay, but once Avengers hit. They weren't really sure until they did Avengers that everything was going to really start to pay off. And even then, there's these little things that they throw out. And as the Marvel Universe grows, you can see these little things, and you're always wondering, are they going to pay that off? Are they going to pay that off? And then, you know, eventually they tie up this or they tie up that, or they, you know, they
Okay.
give you that, they give you this. You know, like one of my favorite scenes was when Thor and Rocket went back in time and he got to see his mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was really, really touching.
Yeah.
And she knew that he was.
Well, she knew.
She
You
knew.
could tell
She's like-
she knew something that
she
was.
knew.
You
It was
could
like,
tell.
you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And I really like Renee Russo as an actress.
Oh, I've
Anyway,
always liked her.
but I thought she did a phenomenal job playing Freya because it was, you know, she's a really great character, and have her come back in Endgame and play that character again, and to have that emotional moment with Thor. And he's so badly wanted to.
Oh.
Hey, move. You can't sit there.
You're knocking the lights there, dude.
Yeah. So,
Is that okay?
It's better.
Is it good?
Okay. Are we okay there, Marky G?
Yeah, there was a
Okay.
hot spot there for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
We have to cut that.
We'll
we
fix that in post.
yeah. But yeah, him getting to have that emotional connection with his mother again and wanting to save her and her saying, no, you can't.
That's right.
You
yeah.
can't change.
She knew. Yeah.
And it was really, that was really, to me, was really cool. And then when he calls for the hammer and it comes back to him, he's like, yes! He was all excited that he was still worthy.
Hi,
Like,
Pongo.
I thought that was really cool
Pongo's now the sound man.
because, because he was so distraught about the fact thinking he wasn't worthy because of not being able to stop Thanos and everything,
but-
right? And then when he called the hammer and it came to him, he was like, "I'm still worthy. And he takes it with him.
Yeah.
It was really good.
All in all, it worked out really good that way, and
That was one of my favorite scenes. That one. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. Was that one?
Okay. Well, there you go. So, yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it. So I'll have to
that's
catch
good.
up at some point and go from there.
That's good,
Now,
yeah.
you can't say the same about mine.
No, the time machine. That's an hour and a half of my life I will never get back.
See, well, again...
And I told you, remember when we filmed this before, I told you
Yeah.
it was because I couldn't stand the fact that they couldn't follow their own rules.
That's right. You said that.
It
And
drove me nuts watching the movie.
It's just... okay. Well, you see, again, in the original one we shot, I had said to you, when I watch a movie, I try to suspend my...
Right. I
know-
do the same. I suspend my belief as well, but I only suspend it to the point of I still expect them. Like I can suspend my belief and go, okay, like I'm watching Star Trek and it's not possible to transport people from here to there or have phasers and spaceships that travel way faster than the speed of light and all. I can suspend my belief that way. But as long as they follow their own rules they're establishing, I'm okay. But the moment that you go and you stop following the rules you've laid down, then I'm like, okay, whoa, you're fucking everything up. Because that was what got me. It was the point that I'd said that they went and they mentioned the H.G. Wells book.
Yeah, I know.
In the movie, which is like, you can't do that. He's the guy from the book.
Yeah, well...
Like and then there was the whole, why didn't he just go back in time, get a gun, go
I
back
know,
and forward,
I know.
and then shoot everything?
I know,
And then
I
there
know.
was the fact that, as we all know, because of the moon's importance to the Earth, it's impossible for society to really continue on. Because if that much of the moon had crumbled and collided with the Earth, it would have wiped out humanity. I was just like, oh my God, I couldn't.
But
I couldn't
again, you
follow
got to
their own
realize when H.G. Wells
Yes,
wrote
he
that...
wrote it in the 19th century, so I had to give him the moon thing. I
You
had
know,
to give
you
him
have
that.
to understand it's a product of its time.
Yes.
And you have to allow...
Yes,
you
I know. You have to allow a little bit, and I get. Trust me, I think the book is better, but I could give him a pass on a lot of things. It was the fact that I could not give him a pass on mentioning his own book in the book. I was like, "Yo, you freaking kidding me?" Because it's like that book shouldn't exist in the movie universe of the Time Machine. As I said before, it shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
Right?
it's just... Anyway.
So, but otherwise, yeah. But I mean, like I did
The
like
story
the fact,
overall is,
I did like the fact that he said he made it, that when he kept going back in time, he couldn't change her death.
Yeah.
She died no matter what. It just was a different way or
That's
whatever.
right, exactly.
Which follows along the belief that I already have when it comes to time travel, which is what Endgame did. When Hulk explains it, he explains it the same way: is if you go back in time to change the past, you're not changing the past because the past has already happened, and now if you're back before that, you're all you're doing is you're causing a branched reality. Right? So if you go back and you stop, like if, God forbid you walk out today and you get hit by a bus and I'm like, oh shit, Peter got hit by a bus, or Dylan got hit by a bus, or Mark got hit by a bus, or whatever. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to build a time machine. I'm going to go back. I'm going to stop this. So I go back in time. I stop. I'm like, no, Dylan, don't go out. You're going to get hit by a bus. Okay, you don't go out. You accidentally trip, fall down the stairs, break your neck.
That's right.
And you still
so
die.
it still
I'm like,
ends up.
shit. And then I go back to change that. And it's like, okay, don't go near the stairs. You're going to fall down the stairs. Okay. So then you go and you do something and you accidentally electrocute yourself in the kitchen or what? You know what I mean? Like
It could be anything.
It
Yeah,
could be
I know.
anything. Your time.
It's there to happen. It's going to happen no matter how you.
And all that's happened is now I've created a branch reality where one, you've been hit by a bus and died. One, you've fallen downstairs and broken your neck and died. And another one, you've been electrocuted and died. And it's like, well, shit. In all of them, when I go back to my timeline, either way, you're still dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't fix anything.
It doesn't.
Right?
It won't fix the problem.
And even if I go
that's
back
right.
and I
Exactly.
manage to stop you from dying and say it works, even if I go back to my time, I can only go back to the time I came from. I can't go back to the future that I've created.
Yeah.
In that future, then yes, there's a version of me that's living still alongside you as a friend who's still alive. But in the one I go back to,
It's not the same one.
so I do like the way that he had done that, because to me that follows what I already believe is the case for time travel. I think if you go back, you can't change your history. All you're going to do is cause something else to happen or whatever. You're not going to fix it.
Which, at the same time, the other thing we talked about was when we were talking about this whole thing, is I remember I said to you about the fact that I came across this thing on the internet talking about that there's another timeline where we're going forward and it's going backwards.
Yes.
And we talked about that.
Yes.
That was
Yes,
on the other thing as well.
There is
And you
scientific
said to me, I believe
evidence.
Marky said to me, I think his line was the fact that it's like headphones, you got to have a right and a left channel. That's why there's two. But
Well, there is scientific evidence to suggest that there isn't.
Cyclical.
Yes.
cyclical. Thank you. That was the word you used. Thank you.
There is scientific evidence to suggest that there is a parallel universe to ours, but instead of time going forward, it goes backwards.
That's right. So not because I said to you, so what is it, fucking Benjamin Button? You're born an old man and you die a child.
But you wouldn't know, because for you it would be time going forward, and for them we're the ones going backwards.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it would look.
Yeah.
Like it would. So it would be normal for them to be an old person crawling up out of a grave and then crawling their way back into a vagina.
Yeah.
I guess I have no idea how that would work, but
Yeah.
I know.
But
that
it's just weird how you think about, it's just strange, Anyway, I don't know.
you watch technology get shittier as you get old, as you get younger.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, no. I mean, it's
When
one
I
of those
was
things,
older.
right? When I was old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You old people, you don't know anything.
Yeah. Oh man, weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just
Well, if it'll bring back any Van Halen,
Then we'll go backwards.
there you
yeah,
go.
okay,
Yeah,
So
but
it'll
like
bring
it's
back Johnny
true.
Cash for
it's
me.
one
So
of those hairball. But yeah, like it's so there is evidence that suggests that it could be there. I mean, anything's possible, I suppose. I'd like to believe that there's so much out there that we don't understand.
now, again, if there's a timeline here and a timeline here, is there something in between that timeline where neither one of them exist and it's just
I have no idea.
no man's land?
I
if you want to
can't.
call
I
it
can't
that.
answer that 'cause I
No,
don't
I know,
know.
but I'm just saying,
know. Who knows?
where time doesn't work. There's no time doesn't
Well,
exist in the middle of that.
It wouldn't exist. It wouldn't exist the way we understand it in that parallel universe either. In a parallel, even if it's going backwards, it wouldn't work as we understand it. We wouldn't.
But there's still a time. Time still works. Whereas I'm saying in the middle of the two timelines, there'd be a no man's land where time.
Well, no, you're assuming that time is constant throughout, like the
Well, they say
multiverse.
time is man-made, technically speaking.
Well, it's not.
But-
It's like, I guess what I'm saying is it's like we can only apply the laws of physics and everything as we know them to our universe, right? So if there's a parallel universe, they may not work the same way. Gum could be their titanium. Like we can't, we don't know, because we don't know how anything would work in another reality.
Yeah.
Like it just, you don't know, right? Like
Yeah.
It's hard to say if there's a, time may only be a conception that we have because it's a part of our universe, but another universe may not have that conception. They may not have that idea. They might, you know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah, I guess
So-
it's yeah.
But anyway, it was one of the things I liked about the movie was that at least he stuck to that idea that you couldn't go back and change anything. All you were going to do is just do
Fuck
it. Was
it up.
it was gonna happen differently
Yeah.
or whatever, but it was gonna happen. And
Weird shit, I tell you.
but yeah, I just
But overall, you didn't enjoy the movie.
no,
So,
it
you
was.
know.
I found it kind of dull.
Okay.
There wasn't enough action in it for me, and again, it got to the point where I was just like, why doesn't he just go back, get a gun, come back, and be like, okay, well, I'll shoot this guy and then I'll save her. Problem solved. Like,
Well, it was just, with me, I'd read the book years and years ago. And it was nice to see, it was nice to see the technology catch up that you could,
yeah.
And I still don't know why they haven't made a Catcher in the Rye movie. The J.D. Salinger. God,
I don't
that's
know
one
what
of my
that is.
favorite books. And I wish they'd make a movie of that. Because, just to see, Holden Caulfield and the whole... I would love to see that turn into a book. Or into a movie.
Well.
Because...
Anyway,
Anyway.
overall, I really, I was like, Kim and I sat down and we watched it, and it was just like, oh God, when is this going to be over? When is this going to be? It was just not.
Okay. Well,
And I
it's-
like, and that, oddly, like I like, you know me, I like science fiction. I like
Yeah.
time travel movies. I mean,
Another dead soldier. But
it's
yeah,
it's just
it's,
one of those things. But it was, yeah.
Okay. Well, next one. What do we got?
Well, that's it.
Oh, that's all we got this one?
That's what we got to talk
Okay.
about for this. But yeah, so
Did you start watching The Righteous Gemstones?
No, I didn't get the chance to do that because I'm finishing off on Prime, Amazon Prime. There's Goliath, Billy Bob Thornton. I don't like Billy Bob Thornton personally. He's an asshole, but
he was hilarious on Big Bang Theory.
yeah, he did. He did a good part there. Yeah.
He's a good actor.
He is a good actor.
Yeah, he is
might,
a good
he might be a
actor.
dink in real life or whatever.
Oh,
but
he
fuck,
just sounds like
whatever.
he's a first class shithead.
Maybe
but,
he's not. I don't know the guy, so I'm not going to comment.
Oh, that he did an interview on Q when Gomeshi was still there.
Oh, and Gian Gomeshi didn't deserve it?
No, and he was just being a complete shithead.
Well, Gian doesn't... He called him out on it, though.
He did. He called him out on it, and he still didn't, And
Is what it is.
And he's a professional. He went through it.
Gian's such an angel.
No, definitely not. But he was a professional about it, and he went through it because I would have just said, you know what, fuck you, get out.
Yeah, whatever.
So-
it is what it is. But yeah.
I haven't got time for assholes. I'm not here. Fuck you. Go.
Anyway, it is what it is. So
If I want to fucking deal with assholes,
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck it. I'm
anyway,
going to go off on a
like I
tangent.
said,
and I don't want to do that.
It is what
yeah.
it is. Okay,
So
just let it go.
there it is. Anyway,
yeah.
so I will get to the gemstones
So
probably next week.
when we do the next episode, we'll catch up on the Star Treks the lower decks ones that we haven't
Yeah,
done.
because by that point we'll just be ready to start into Discovery. So
that'll catch us up on those. And you watch Captain Marvel
yeah,
between now and then.
Okay, I'll watch
And
Captain Marvel. I have to figure out what you're going to watch. I'm not sure offhand yet. So
you let me know, and I'll watch it,
okay.
and then we'll talk about those. All right?
Debbie Does Dallas Part 6.
No. You've seen 1 through 5. You know what happens in 6.
Coming soon.
I know what I want you to watch is Leonard's Part 1 through 5.
Leonard's?
Leonard, yep.
Sorry.
Bill Cosby did a movie called Leonard Part 6. There's no parts 1 through 5.
Oh, okay. I
You
didn't,
did get that.
sorry. I didn't. Didn't even ask for clearance. Gone.
I can see now he's out there. Where the hell is this Leonard's Part 1 to 5?
Yeah.
What the hell? All I can find is Part 6.
And while you're out there, get me a left-handed screwdriver. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Anyway.
Back to the Future, Part 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good God.
And Rocky 29, the apology. Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
Okay, well, you figure
So-
it out. Let me know. Anyway, that's it, guys. We will catch you guys for another episode of Let's Talk Radio and Superlative Radio next week. Thanks so much for listening. Tell us what you thought of Endgame. Tell us what you thought of
Time
the Time
Machine.
Machine. If you've seen them, comment below what your favorite part was.
Yeah, give us your
what
feedback.
you hated. Would love to know.
And of
then,
course, keep watching the vlogs. Keep
right.
up
Yep,
on the
lots
shows. Keep up on everything.
We've got a big
'cause-
surprise coming with the Jersey Ham, so keep tuned to that.
Yeah,
And
that's coming
other than
good.
that, we will catch you guys for another episode next week.
See you later, guys.